Shalom and welcome to today's class. In today's class, I am going to be introducing you properly to the Hebrew alphabet. In our last class, we made mention of the fact that the Hebrew language is made up of 22 alphabets, and all of the alphabet are consonants. In today's class, we are going to begin to look at this alphabet one after the other. And as we go ahead, we are going to make sure that we are also writing some words and pronouncing. We're not only going to be learning the alphabet, we're going to be learning how they are pronounced. All right. Now, for every Hebrew alphabet or Hebrew letter I'm going to write here, I'm going to give you the equivalent English alphabet and the sound or pronunciation. All right. Then, after that, I am going to also tell you about the numerical value. Let's get started, and you will get it. Now, the first Hebrew alphabet or the first Hebrew letter in the Babylonian script is written like this. All right, more like an X in English, but not an X because it's not diagonal line crossing each other. We have this line starting from here and we have this other line starting from here. All right. Now, every alphabet has its name, and the name is different from the pronunciation. Okay. Now, in Paleo Hebrew, Aleph is written like this. This letter name is Aleph. All right. So in ancient Hebrew, Aleph is like this. You know, looking like the head of an ox. All right. You can see the ear and then the mouth. So this is how Paleo Hebrew represents. That's why it is called a pictographic letter. So if you go online and then you see this sign, this type of sign or letter, and then you are seeing it being called Aleph, and then you know that this is Aleph. You get it now that we have Paleo or ancient Hebrew style of writing it, but the letter is Aleph. So I'll take this off because it is not what we are looking at. So the first Hebrew alphabet is Aleph. All right. Now, how is it pronounced? It is silent. Now, you might be surprised and you are confused. Yes. In Hebrew, the letter Aleph is silent. Right? You should watch one of our videos on different types of Hebrew letters. All right? Different types of Hebrew letter is also a video that you should watch. And then you get to understand even much better. And remember that we have handouts and we have workbook for you to practice so that you can write this language and learn it better. It is available at an affordable price. Reach out and get yours. Okay, moving ahead. The Aleph is silent. It is believed that it has a way it's pronounced before, but over the years, people lost the sound of the letter. So we don't know the pronunciation again. And also, whenever you find it in the beginning of a word, it's silent. It's the vowel sound that is in we said that Igbo does not have vowel. All right, and the native speakers just know the right vowel for every word. And also there are some alphabets that kind of represent vowel. Not that they are vowel, but they have, whenever you see them, they can act as a vowel. One of them is this. Okay, but it's silent. We don't know the pronunciation again. So if you are going to write it in English, you write it like an apostrophe to the right, like this. And if you go online, for example, we have the word Elohim. Now this is Aleph that we just finished talking about. It's silent, we don't know the pronunciation, so we are only going to put it like this. And then we now write the vowel. There's a vowel letter E here. E. Alright, this is L. We are going to get there, don't worry. We have the vowel letter, the vowel marking O rather. We have the H. We have the I and the M. So if you go online sometimes, you can see that there's this sign there. It's not just there. Alright, it is representing Aleph. You must write it because it's part of it. Just because you don't know the sound, that's the reason why it is written like that. Okay. The second Hebrew letter. Now, for Aleph, before I go on, the numerical value is 1. What do I mean by numerical value? In Hebrew, we are going to write numbers. For example, in English, we are going to write numbers. I wrote numbers in our last class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in Hebrew, we don't have numbers. We also use the alphabet for numbers. And each of the alphabets have their own number. Aleph is 1. The numerical value for Aleph is 1. Whenever you want to write 1, just write Aleph. You remember in the book of Psalm, where the letters are written, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. They were numbering the Psalm. 1, 2, 3, like that. So we have the number Aleph as number 1. So if I want to write 1, what I'm saying, I'll just write Aleph. Then I'll write whatever I want to write. Okay. Now the second Hebrew letter is Bet. Is Bet. The English equivalent of Bet is B. Now you might be surprised that I've written it twice. Yes. And you realize that this one is having a dot in the middle and this one is not having a dot in the middle. So that's the reason why I said you should watch the video on the types of letter. You will understand much better there. But I'm going to explain. Whenever you see a dot like this in the middle of the word, this dot is called a dagesh. A dagesh. Dagesh. Alright? And then what is the work of a dagesh? Dagesh makes a letter sound harder. In other words, this is the same letter, but without a dagesh here, it's pronounced vet. Very, very, very soft. Alright? But with dagesh, it becomes b. It becomes thicker or harder. Alright? So that means that our bet can also be written as V in English. With a dagesh, if you are writing it in English now, when you say dagesh is B, without a dagesh is V. Alright? And its numerical value is 2. If you want to write number 2 in English, you write bait. In Hebrew, you write bait. All right, I believe you understand that. So the first letter is Aleph, the second letter is bait, but bait has different pronunciation depending on whether there is a dagesh present or not. With a dagesh, it's pronounced bet. Without a dagesh, it's pronounced vet. All right, and very quickly, we have written 2 letters already, and we can already start making some 2-letter words in Hebrew. The first letter, Aleph, all right, and the second letter, Vet, because it's not having dagesh. Vet, right? Now, if you had a vowel marking, when we get to vowel, you will know them much more. If you had a vowel marking, this particular vowel marking, this is the letter A sound, short A sound. So you now have, remember, this is silent, and if you are going to write it, you are going to write it like this. Then you have the A sound, then you have the V. So this is have. This is silent. We only pronounce this to have, and that's the Hebrew word for father. Can you see that? Father. Have. Father. Now let me quickly say this before we go on with the alphabet. You may probably, maybe you have come across a letter before, or you have read your Bible, or you have searched online, and then you have heard people say that the word for father in Hebrew is Haba. Now, I will explain. Haba is more like daddy. Okay? Have is father. Alright? Now, remember, we already said that if it has a dagesh, it becomes ab. Alright? But then when we get to dagesh, you are going to know much more about why we have the word. When you put a at the end again, you can have that diaba.